we get all these views on YouTube already right now. So why not just put the freaking show on YouTube live? That's all. That's the thought. And then we can put it there, and we can put it on Twitch, and we can put it on Facebook, and we can put it everywhere live, and we would have 5 times the amount of live viewers because people come here and they can't get in the front door and they don't come back.
Yeah. It's definitely a spec. That's for sure. They're just looking to flip it.
You were saying, what I tried to interject was, yes, there used to be an etiquette to being a criminal scumbag. And now there's no more etiquette, it seems like.
There's none. Like,
No.
I'm addicted to watching these horrible crime videos because we live in this day and age of information where everybody videotapes everything and you can see it. And for the first time ever, we're seeing what terrorism looks like on a mass scale. Like, we've always known that terrorism has existed. It's been awful. People have gotten videos on occasion. But in the day of the smartphone, like, we're seeing women being dragged away by their hair, bloodied. And it's going to resonate with people differently this time because of A, the access, but B, and this might be awful to say.
Say it.
Israel's got some hot broads. Okay?
All right. You have to hold that thought for 1 second.
Okay.
Right? We're coming back to it because maybe one thing can go right tonight. We have a correspondent at Chase Field right now.
Let's go, baby!
Oh, wow.
I thought you were in a VIP box. That don't look like no VIP box. Look at that guy.
Yeah.
Hopefully you know that guy. So what's the score, buddy? What's going on? What's the vibe?
Stand right next to me. We're on the podcast. Let's go! Let's go, D-back.
Get it. Good for you, man.
All right, baby.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That is. All right, Penguin, you're in and out, buddy. We're having all kinds of problems.
Look at all this.
That's nice. They're not bad seats. And the roof is open.
Crazy.
Madness.
It's so strange to see Bank One ballpark filled up. Usually that stadium only gets filled up when the Cubs come to town.
That's not Bank One. That's Chase Field. Maybe it's a different ball. Oh, look at it. Look at him sporting.
Ooh, he's got a new lid.
You know what he needs? Have you seen those Fanatic commercials about, like, support your team and buy the gear, and then the guy smiles and he's got the grill? That's what Penguin needs. He needs the gold grill.
Yep, go with it.
All right. So anyway, that was our live look-in. So that apparently sort of kind of went right. So, but anyway, you were talking about the hot Israeli women.
Dude, okay.
That can kick some serious ass, by the way.
Those IDF broads are smoke shows, and they know how to handle a firearm and protect their own. Like, they're badasses. And of course, women at a music festival there's going to be some good looking women there. But we've never seen beautiful women be hauled off and murdered in such a way. Like, in terms of, like, has there ever been a mass shootout at a modeling show? Like, we're seeing pretty girls that are speaking out now. Like, they're all over the place. And I'm not saying that their story is more important because they're beautiful. No. But we all know that sex sells. That's just what it is. And people will tune in longer and hear what they have to say because these girls are pretty. And it's going to resonate with people around the world. They're going to hear and see what's been going on a little bit more. And maybe, just maybe, they see some of the awful stuff that's happening. And I can't even believe that we live in a time where we have BLM posting pictures of a parachute with a Palestinian flag on it saying, we support Palestine. We've got universities mobilizing for pro-Palestinian protests, celebrating the massacre of babies being butchered, decapitated, women being hauled off in vehicles, drug around in the streets. Like, we have politicians who have been openly anti-Semitic for quite some time, but all you hear about is the anti-Semitism that comes from the MAGA Republicans, white supremacy, white supremacy. And then when they get asked if they condone the butcherings, no comment. It should be a simple statement. Do you condone babies' heads being chopped off? Are you crazy? Of course not. But they don't. They don't. It's insane. We live in mad times, man.
We live in crazy mad times, man. You know, I try to avoid these topics on this show and on social media because, well, because we're trying to build an audience, and as a media network, we're you know, our goal is to report it as it is. Yeah, the way we see it is always going to be biased. The way anyone sees something is biased to what their eyeballs are showing them. But we're, you know, I'm trying not to be an MSNBC or, on the flip side, a Fox News or whoever. I'm just trying to say. So what I want to say is that the way I'm seeing this, it breaks my heart, all the people that died in the attack this weekend in Israel. And it literally breaks my heart, the innocent people that are going to die in the Gaza Strip, because it's going to have, there are some innocent people there, people that are born into, this is the situation and we can never get out, and they're afraid, whatever. I've been doing a lot of reading and studying up on all of this Israel and Hamas history and yada, yada, yada. But I have clearly, how to say this, I have zero issue with Israel going in there and bulldozing the entire place.
Yep.
I mean, it would make total sense to drop a nuke on it, but they can't do that because it's kind of like they're sort of like the side of their house, the Gaza Strip. So you don't want to nuke the side of your own house. But yeah, they can level it. They can kill everyone. And from what I've heard, but you don't know what's legit, what's not legit. Israel sent text messages or put the news out that said, look, get out now. If you're innocent, if you're not a terrorist, if you don't want to die, get out now, or else you're going to die. Because we're going to kill everybody and we're going to destroy everything. And I honestly have zero problem with that at all, because they didn't start this fight, but this is what you have to do. This is what America used to do. And now, it's just like you were just talking about, we've become such a society of wussies and pansies and politically correct and can't say this and can't do that. Look, Israel's and here's the thing. Look, you want to support the people of Palestine? I think I'm okay with that. If you're separating the innocent people of Palestine who are going to die and are not terrorists, I understand that there are people there.
They're not. Like, I get that there are some innocent people in there, but Palestine has been a safe haven for terrorism for hundreds of years.
Yeah, no, don't misunderstand me. I am not supporting terrorists.
Well,
what
I know. I get upset because I've heard this argument from some of my friends, specifically the more liberal ones, is they're quick to point out the innocent lives of Palestinians that are going to be lost. I'm like, look, this is war. And when you welcome that into your house, you live in that situation. Like, we can say all the live long day, people can't get out. People can get out. It's
Mhm.
2023. Like, that's a bullshit excuse.
Mhm.
Like, they've been apologists for that type of behavior for so long. And now we're seeing it. Like, there might be some Palestinians who are good, honest people that just want to praise Allah, but they're pacifists and they're allowing it to happen. And they allowed this hatred. Like, they hate each other. Israel and Palestine hate each other. They've hated each other. There's no secret, but one has been the aggressor and one has been like, okay, like, we know it's going to happen again. Like, time after time, it's Palestine going in. It's Palestine bombing something. It's Palestine taking women. It's Palestine butchering people. Like, war after war after war since the 2000s, really, since Clinton brought Palestine and Israel to the table with the Oslo Accords, I think they're called. But it's just it's a crappy situation, but these people are animals. Like, they're savages. They are archaic savages. They behave like Vikings. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
Vikings
exactly.
would go and pillage and rape and do whatever they wanted. It's no different. They just look different. That's the only difference between the two's behavior. And why saying right versus wrong has to get politically charged is so stupid. Like, politics is so annoying because this is a clear-cut case of right and wrong. Like, this isn't a
100%.
civilized war.
You are 1,000,000% correct. And if what I was saying was misconstrued by anyone in any way, I 100% support Israel. I 100% am behind leveling everything that's there and killing everyone that's there. And it's gonna suck for some people, but that's just the way it is. And the rules, which this always makes me laugh, is that the rules of war, there are no rules in war. When you do what was done to Israel and then you want to follow the rules of war, there's no rules at all. And here's something that's really got my mind puzzled, and this would be a good question for your show on Fridays that you're on, is why is it that we've seen so many TikTok and YouTube and Instagram videos of what's going on in Lebanon right now, but we don't see any videos like that at all from Ukraine?
Because it's not happening like that. Like, they report it, but the Russians weren't as brazen as Hezbollah. Like, as much as we want to portray Russia, and I am not an apologist for Russia, but they're not Hezbollah. They're not ISIS. They're not Al Qaeda. Like, these are fundamental savages who have set women back to the Stone Age time after time. And if you can butcher infants on a mass scale, you got something seriously wrong with you.
Well, you know how this ends, right? That's the thing, is that the script is already written, and I don't know how you feel. And obviously, we're going into stuff I don't like to go into, and I don't want to really push the religious talk right now. But the script is written in the Bible. This thing has an ending, and it's told the story of Israel for thousands of years, and everything that it said would happen has happened. And Israel doesn't. They don't lose in the end, and we're at the end. We're in the last act of this production, and it's not going to end well for
Well,
anyone that goes up against them.
yeah. As long as Iran doesn't get a hold of nukes, civilization has a chance. But the second Iran gets nukes, the world changes.
So
And
what's written isn't, again, I'm not good, but what's written is that the final battle, war, whatever, against Israel has got Iran and Russia, and then a bunch of all the other Muslim, Armenia, and everybody else that's over there coming into Israel, and Israel somehow wipes them out, like with just one swoop of whatever. But I totally support right now if Israel wants to just start leveling all sorts of actors over there in the Middle East. I'm totally with it. So if they want to go take out Iran next, 100%, 100 million%.
Surrounded by enemies. So you got Lebanon, Jordan, Syria, Egypt. Like they're getting shelled from all sides right now. So
How did the American weapons get into Hezbollah's hands? Were they left over in Afghanistan, or is Zelensky taking them in and selling them on eBay over to Hamas?
well, that's why we're going to need to check the serial numbers, or Israel's going to have to help us check the serial numbers on some of these weapons that Hezbollah has been using, because that will let us know if, in fact, Zelensky's been trading arms specifically to them. I'm sure it's happened in some way, shape, or form. It's definitely the Afghanistan withdrawal has funded this. There's no doubt about that. I mean, they pretty much got armor and weapons, $68 billion worth of military equipment because of the way we disgracefully left Afghanistan. And it'll be interesting to see the reports on that. You also have to factor in the fact that Biden decided he wanted to pay $6 billion for 6 hostages. And while our government is claiming that not a penny has been spent, and that could be true, like probably the case. They say it's for humanitarian effort. But if you're somebody who's looking to sell some firearms and you're Iran and you know you got this $6 million honeypot, are you not going to be more willing to dip into the kitty knowing that you've got $6 billion unfrozen? Yeah, that's common fucking sense. Pardon my French. You know, to your point when you were talking about the Palestinians, I'm glad that there's people out there like you that have the brains to not get caught up in the fog of war and understand that there are innocents on both sides and there's going to be innocent casualties, because it is important. Mm-hmm. And I didn't mean to shut you down on that. It's just I have been listening to people pretend that there's a bunch of innocent Palestinians, and I think they're more culpable than they let on. But I'm glad that there are people like yourself and like some of my loved ones that are able to first and foremost think of all the innocent people instead of get caught up in the fog of war. And I think that shows a certain temperance and maturity that sometimes I don't have, because I'm a hammer, dude. And to me, everything's a nail. So I fucking bop, bop, bop. You know, I see that. I'm like, okay, how can we go take these savages out? And
that's the way that's the way any war has to be fought, though, is like a hammer and a nail.
Yeah.
There's going to be collateral damage. There's going to be innocence. There's innocence everywhere that gets killed and destroyed and tainted and ruined every single day, everywhere. So to act like that, you know, getting PO'd in Center City, Philadelphia, and going out and breaking all kinds of laws for walking up and shooting people in the back of the head execution style, and then, you know, not having charges pressed against you, or that's fine, but then we have to follow rules of war. It's asinine, man. It's just this whole picture.
It's the savagery that we're seeing, the images it's just a different game. Like, you can see the women being dragged off bloody to their deaths. You can see people being shot, decapitated. Like, the violence is there to see. And mark this down. In 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you will see a flippant coverage by the usual state-run media that will start to call for Israel to show some temperance and call for a peace treaty on this.
2 weeks. They're already talking about that.
Yep.
They're already talking about it. And,
well-
and Israel said no. They said, well, we need to investigate. And Israel said, no, we'll investigate later. Right
Dude,
now, we need to annihilate. We annihilate and then we investigate.
Yeah. Netanyahu is not playing this time. And for those of you who don't know who Benjamin Netanyahu is, okay, he's Prime Minister of Israel. He's one of the top figures from the history of Israel. But what was he before he was Prime Minister? He was a spec ops agent. He was spec ops military, special operations. And he was part of a team that when a group of Palestinians took a plane hostage that had Israeli military officials on it, they landed because they needed to fix some landing gear or something was technically wrong with the plane. And he was part of a unit that dressed up as white coat technicians to fix this and took these guys out, killed 2 of the Palestinian men, took the other 2 women, and got them arrested. So this guy knows war and he knows deep cover, and I don't see him laying down as fast this time.
That's some Jason Bourne type stuff right there.
Hell yeah. I mean, that is 100% Jason Bourne, Air Force One. Name the movie, Get Off My Plane.
Oh, so that's where we stand now on Fridays. And I have a lot of problem with your show on Fridays. Right? And here's the problem that I have with it.
Yeah.
I can't find the freaking thing. Stop changing the name every week.
I get it. It's not me. It's Mark.
It's hard enough when you know what show you're trying to watch on No Filter to actually watch it and get it to work. Now you don't even know what the show is called. So you spend 30 minutes trying to find it, and then you can't log in, and then your camera doesn't work, and then this doesn't work, and that doesn't work. And look at this. It's like the lights just came on. Did you see that?
Yeah.
It came on in here. I have the power.
That's a gift, my friend.
I can't make No Filter work, but I have the power.
You can make the lights in your room work. Did you just have the clapper? Clap on, clap off, the clapper. But I agree.
I've never had
The
the
name thing is annoying, and it's already a big enough pain in the ass to try to find shows on here. So I'll speak to him about it. Just look for the show that says Mark Smith under there. That's all I can tell people who are having difficulty find the show.
Is it on
It's
at the exact
always
same time every
Fridays.
Friday?
It's always 1 p.m. Eastern,
Okay.
and it's usually got some sort of goofy name.
All right. And what about the other show that you're on with the goofy name, which is actually I loved the spot that we showed. I love that thing. I love the music. I love the whole everything that you're doing with this. So what's going on with that show and Ted Brooks? Is Ted picking any winners? Who does a better job picking the winners, you or him?
Ted's got the business, so I'm going to say Ted. But we agree on quite a bit. The few times that we've gone head to head, I think it's been a split. Maybe I have the advantage. But Ted Money knows what he's talking about, and he gives good tips. Like, I wouldn't pick as many winners if I didn't use some of the tricks of the trade that he's teaching me. So I'm an emotional gambler. I look at kind of the outside things that people don't look at, weather, emotions, injury reports, how hype of a game, et cetera, et cetera. He's a numbers guy. He really knows how to dig in on the numbers. So we pick more winners than losers, I'll tell you that. So that's the nice part of the show is you're always going to make money. There's not one week where we have not picked more winners than losers. So it's free money, you know?
There's nothing wrong with free money. There's nothing wrong with free money.
Nothing. Everybody loves it. I love it. You love it.
And since we haven't really talked in a few weeks, since I just tried to be a big shot and pulled things out of my rear end opening NFL Sunday there, and I went 0-3.
Yeah.
I'm undefeated, but my lock last week was the Jets. I don't know. Yeah, I gave the Jets. You can go back and look at the tape. I said the Jets are gonna cover. I mean, the only team worse than the Jets are the Giants and the Broncos. So the Jets were and I had San Francisco, but I'm sure everybody on the planet had San Francisco last week because Dallas, I think, is a goof. I also think that the Miami Dolphins are a goof. I think that they've beaten up, but yeah, look, I get it. They're fast and their offense, but when they play somebody good, like they've only played one good team so far, and they got their asses kicked. So beat some somebodies instead of beating up a bunch of nobodies, and then get back to me on the Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean, the Dolphins are so explosive. They're fun to watch, and Tua really has a grasp of that offense. Like he's elevated his technical game. He's a lot smarter. Like watching their offense, he picks his points really well. But is their defense good enough? No. Once Jalen Ramsey, we'll see if he's able to return to form. But you're right. They haven't really played anybody. Like the Patriots are garbage. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of garbage teams in the NFL right now. A lot of them. And that sucks because obviously the Cardinals are well into their tank for Caleb Williams, even though we look like we're playing hard. The reality is we're not a good football team.
And you nailed it right on top of the head, man. You're hammering again. There are not a lot of good football teams. If you just like real quick, I'll rattle San Francisco, Detroit,
the Chiefs.
The Chiefs, but the Chiefs are
vulnerable.
Yeah, they're vulnerable. Cincinnati's a good football team. Don't let the first few weeks fool you. I think that Cincinnati's still a good football team. Yeah. You say the thing with San Francisco right now is they look unbeatable. It's only week 5.
It is only week 5, and something could happen to Purdy, and that could change everything. But
yeah, man,
that kid looks just so comfortable in that offense. Like he looks like somebody who knows all the weapons that he has around him. And everybody has said this from the beginning of the NFL draft. A new starter's best friend is a good running game. And they have one of the best in Christian McCaffrey. Like he can throw that check down and get 8 yards every time, every single time. So he doesn't do too much. He does what's asked of him, and he lets the players play. And that defense is yikes.
And Reese and I talked about this earlier, just something that's been driving me bananas with what I'm hearing people say. I'm tired of hearing people say, well, Brock Purdy's got to prove himself. What the fuck does he have to prove? He's undefeated in his career. He's already proved himself. The only game he lost was the game where they ripped his arm off.
Yeah.
That's it. What does he have to? He's got to win the Super Bowl. So does every other quarterback that's out there.
But Kyler Murray has to prove something. Brock Purdy doesn't have to prove anything. He's already proven he knows how to run. Like you can't have as many wins in a row as he's had and be that lucky. Like he knows what he's doing. And if you watch them play, Shanahan calls great games for him to just make the right decisions. Like Jimmy Garoppolo was a winner, but he always made that Jimmy Garoppolo play where he tried to do too much. Like he always had that brain fart where he would just, gonna just turn the ball over right now.
And Brock doesn't do that.
He doesn't, and that's all they need. Like that's all the Niners need to win a chip is have a smart game manager. They don't need a Brett Favre. They don't need an Aaron Rodgers. They just need a Vinny Testaverde.
Not a Zach Wilson.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't put Zach there. Although Zach would do a lot better there. I think.
What about Jacksonville? Is Jacksonville a good team?
Yeah, they're legit. They're a legit team. Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson. He's growing right before our eyes, and they have London on lockdown, dude. Like you see Jags on the schedule in London, you bet that because they win. They've done such a good job.
But they lost in London 2 weeks ago.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did. They beat Buffalo this week in London, right?
Yeah.
But they lost the week before.
Are you sure?
I'm 99% positive.
I'll have to look that up. I'm pretty sure they beat the bricks off of Atlanta.
No, they lost.
They won both games.
You sure about that? Then who did they lose? Did they lose at home in Jacksonville the week before to a nobody?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
They travel well in London. So, team's getting better, and are they an elite team? I don't think so, but they lost to Houston at home. That's what it was.
What about the Florida Atlantic Owls? Good team or not a good team?
Not a good team. Not yet. It's going to take some time. Casey Thompson's not that good of a quarterback, which is why
he's out. He's out for the season.
Yeah.
They played better. And they ran the ball this week.
Yeah.
For the first time, they really ran the ball this week. And they hung on by the skin of their teeth in a flat out hurricane. That's the thing with Florida. It'd be 90 degrees and sunny in the first half.
Yeah.
And halftime, we went off the field. We went up to the press boxes. They give you cake in the press box. It's really good at halftime. I look for it. And we came down because it takes you a while to get down the elevator and come down. I was like, holy crap, it's raining. It poured like a category 12 hurricane for 45 minutes. And who I felt really bad for were the cheerleaders because they had to stay out there in it. But I got great videos of them and posted it up, and it got 7,000 hits on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. And now all the cheerleaders are following Bleacher Brothers because I gave them a shout out. Gave them a shout out. The Fly Girls. They're the FAU Fly Girls. I didn't know that until now.
Yep, I saw that. I did a little. When I built that one video that we weren't allowed to play, I did some research on, different videos and things that we could take. But yeah, anybody who can do their job out in that weather deserves our props. So
I was out there in that weather.
Fly Girls of FAU.
I was doing my job out there in that weather. I
always do.
And
that's the thing about consistency is generally when you're as consistent as you are, you don't get thanks that you deserve because it's kind of just assumed that you're going to always do above average work. So I know myself, I'm grateful that you do that and go and rep the brand and grow us, especially at FAU. I think that's one of our biggest contacts, honestly. And I said it before the season even started, like when you were talking to me about it, I was like, this is going to be a hitter. And it has been. And it's because of the great work that you've been doing. And
it's work. I don't know if it's great work. It's work.
It's a lot of work, dude. People don't realize how much work it is to go and cover those games and then to go through all the footage, the photos, the editing, talking to people, interviewing people, finding the right stuff at the right time. Like it's a lot of work. So
dude, I took 1,600 photos at the game on Saturday night. When I got home and stuck the card in the computer to download, I was like, holy shit, 1,600 photos. I'm like, it's gonna take me forever to go through this, man. Saturday nights so I'm traveling with the team this week. I'm going Going to Tampa. And here's a cool little tidbit. I don't know if I should say this or not, but I can cut it on the afterwards. So the FAU credentials are only good for home games. So if you want to go on the road games, you got to apply with the road college.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I applied, and instantly they get back. They're like, yeah, Bleacher Brothers, you're approved.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And now we've got some huge stuff getting ready to drop, things that are like, wow, you guys are really taking this to the next level. And also credential wise, NBA is coming real quick. The soccer, I don't know, I can't keep up with all this shit, but what did the soccer thing, I guess, that Messi plays in and all that, not specifically his team, but the whole soccer league.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess whatever it is, credentials. It's there's a lot of
Well,
big
we
stuff.
talked about October, baby. It's the hottest sports month of the year. Everything's cooking, dude. Everything. You've got the end of baseball. You've got the beginning of basketball, the beginning of hockey. College football is underway. NFL is underway. You got fall college sports. I mean, the world is our oyster.
If I could get Battlefield credentials for Israel, for Lebanon, whatever, you think Captain Ron would be you think we could send him over there as our correspondent? Kind of like Geraldo back in Iraq or wherever he went to?
He's probably pro-Palestinian, so
I don't know.
send him to the Gaza Strip. He'd probably do well there. I'd do that in a heartbeat.
All right, so tomorrow night, 7:00, Coverlicious. You and Ted Brooks. Can you do me one solid for tomorrow night? I'll tune in if you do this for me. FAU's getting, I think, 2 points against I don't know, a team that plays in Tampa, South Florida, I think.
Yeah.
Break it down for me and let me know where to put my money.
Okay. I'll look at it. I'll look at the backup quarterback and see what's going on. USF is bad. They're a bad football team. They're a bad football team.
But they're favored over FAU. They're favored by 2. And the Diamondbacks just taking a 1-0 lead on a home run by number 2, whoever number 2 is on the Diamondbacks.
Wow.
Perdomo?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't follow the Diamondbacks, which is a shame, seeing as their fans, their actual fans are really faithful, and I respect the hell out of them. So I'm happy for the Diamondbacks. I'm not one of those haters. I just unfortunately got born under the wrong sign of being a Cubs family because my dad was from Chicago. So, but I am proud as heck of the Diamondbacks for doing what they're doing. And against the Dodgers, hell yeah. Screw the Dodgers. Screw California.
Here's the thing. Yeah, I agree with that. They could turn that into a nuclear test site. I'd be fine with it. But
totally.
So if the Diamondbacks advance and the Phillies are going to advance, I might be in the neighborhood to cover this thing next week or the week after, whenever it is. So I'll keep you updated.
Yeah, keep me updated on that. We might have to clown around a little bit.
For sure. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna wrap. This was an absolute until Uncle Rico came on and had us reset multiple times. The beginning of the show was a complete disaster, but Bill Perkins and myself will continue what we started tonight, tomorrow morning, on his show, 11 a.m. Eastern time, on Instagram Live, on Top Fan Rivalry. We're doing a whole bunch of stuff with Top Fan Rivalry coming up too. Me and Bill have been working behind the scenes on some different things.
Hell yeah.
Check out Coverlicious tomorrow night, 7:00. Uncle Rico and the fabulous Ted Brooks. Just go on Friday somewhere around noonish and just start watching all the shows on No Filter. And then oh my God, back-to-back home runs.
Stop it.
It's 2-0 Diamondbacks in the bottom of the third. Marte just hit an absolute moonshot.
Oh my gosh. Back-to-back ding-dong Donkey Kongs.
That's it.
Wow.
Thank you to Rock and Reese for stepping in when we were having them issues there. Reese was the only guy that didn't have issues. Next week, Luch will be back. Duncan Dad will be around next week. He's flying tonight. Duncan Dad dropped a great article on Bleacher Brothers a couple hours ago. about his trip to Broncos country. Great read. Videos included in the article. He did an interview that we put out. He sent it to me. He's sending me lots of content, and Penguin's sending me lots of content tonight also. But I was with my kid and I watched it, and I'm like, oh, it's an interview. And it's two Broncos fans, like a father, son, whatever type of deal. And the father's like, my name's Bill. He goes, my name's John. And Duncan's like, okay, thanks. And that was it. So I'm like, so my kid goes, Daddy, that's the shortest video. That's the shortest interview ever. So I posted it with the title, shortest interview ever. And people sure like that interview on TikTok and on YouTube Shorts. So
brilliant. That's a brilliant way to turn a dud into a hit.
Yeah, some really, really good stuff. And he sent me so much content. We haven't even put it all out yet. Interviews with Broncos fans, with Jet fans, and whatnot. But we're rambling.
Awesome.
I'm going to cut this off because I got a meeting after this. But anyway, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Next Wednesday night, we will have Gerald White on, who is one of the newest members of the Bleacher Brother Network. I spent the afternoon or the morning with Gerald and Lorenzo White, if that name rings a bell to anyone, yesterday. I don't want to put too much out there about that, but we'll let Gerald do that next week. And then also, I'm sure we'll have some FAU news and players and interviews back on next week. So anyway, tomorrow night, pay attention. There's not going to be any important baseball tomorrow night. The Phillies will wrap it up. Watch Uncle Rico and Ted Brooks. And we'll see everybody next week. And I'm just going to blindly, what do we got? That's what I got, blindly.
Oh, the hip? The high school dance all over.
All right, that's plenty. I got my TikTok right there. That's all I need. All right, good night, everybody.